Welcome to She Can and She Will. My name is Mary Ann Brown, also known as the Country Mompreneur. I'm joined by my co-host, Disa McAllister. We are moms, work-from-home experts, and queens at helping women take control of their lives. On this show, you will learn from us as well as other women who kick butt in their lives and want to help you do the same. So sit back and get ready for some fun. We are being joined today by Tina Hnatiuk. Did I do it? Yes, I did it right. It was so iffy, and if I was going to get it right. She is a life coach, and yoga and mindfulness teacher. We're very excited to have you join us today, Tina.
Welcome. Thanks so much. I'm excited to be here.
Hey, so first, before we even roll into everything that you do, we just want you to tell us a little bit about yourself and what got you to where you are today.
Sure. Sounds great. So I have been a life coach, yoga and mindfulness teacher for 15 years. And I have always worked primarily with women. And I guess about around the birth of my son is when everything pivoted for me. So I've always done a lot of coaching and I've always loved yoga and mindfulness. And then after a traumatic birth with my son, I was in denial about the PPD, PPA, and PTSD, all of the P's I got, that resulted from that. And it was, I remember sitting there so vividly on the couch one day. My son did not sleep. He slept 11 in 24 hours, none of them consecutively, and cluster fed nonstop. So I was exhausted. And I remember one day my husband walking into the living room and I'm like dead on the couch, nursing and leaking all of the fluids and staring at another rerun of Friends. And my husband looked at me and he's like, I just got a call from your best friend and she said you're drowning. He's like, is this true? And I immediately started crying because there was relief because there was a name for it. Like I'd suspected it, but I was like, I have all the tools. I have all of the no way this could happen to me. And so, and then also this deep shame because it shouldn't have happened to me. Like I had this feeling like I had all the tools. And, but the relief was so good because then it allowed me to face it and do something about it. And it invited, some pretty hard conversations with my husband of what I needed to do because I already knew what I needed to do. I just didn't feel like I could do the things. And, so what I did was like, I really dove deep into reclaiming myself and, going for runs by myself again, things that reminded me of who I was outside of just being a caregiver and the role of a mother. And, just even little bits of mindfulness during the day, even if it was just a couple of minutes or a few conscious breaths, getting back into my body. And within a month, my symptoms were gone. And I realized that for me anyways, that I realized that, I had all the tools. And so once I was able to implement them and felt free to implement them, I was okay. But how many thousands of moms are out there that don't have these tools and are drowning,
Yeah. I don't know how many times I heard like, that's what it's supposed to feel like. You're supposed to be overwhelmed. Your life just changed. Like, and that's not necessarily the case. You don't need to feel like that.
Oh yeah. When you go to have your bridal shower or baby shower and everybody, this is the last time you're ever going to sleep. Like,
it's so mean, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is.
I remember I had like, when I was pregnant, I had like all the symptoms. I had restless leg syndrome and like insomnia and carpal tunnel and ribs out and everything. And I didn't sleep. And I remember people telling me, they're like, oh, it's just your body is preparing for it. And I'm like, that's bull. Because if our body was really preparing us for what's to come, it'd be like sleep all the time.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
You're going to need this to feel really nourished and have a full cup for what's to come. It's like a cruel joke.
Oh my goodness. Well,
so
let's look a little bit deeper into that. Why do you think that moms struggle with taking time for self-care for themselves? Like it seems like that's kind of where you started off to get better. But I don't think most women think to do that. You need to give more of yourself, right? Like,
oh, I 100% agree. And, I honestly think we just have this culture of codependency with women and moms that and I think most people don't understand what that word is, codependency. And so there's this natural, like, that's not me. I'm not this doting wife who does everything for their husband, or like, this lack of sense of self. But really what it means is that we self-abandon for the sake of others. Other people's feelings are more important than our own. And women are trained this way. Like, it's a cultural thing. And then you become a mother, and that is amplified even more, because at first there's no choice. I mean, you have this thing that needs all of you all the time. And, hopefully you have a partner that's able to support you in that. But, especially in the beginning, for me, it felt like it amplified it so much more that it was difficult, that even when I got to a point that I could leave him alone for an hour because he wasn't nursing 24 hours a day. And that it felt like that wasn't even possible. And so, I think we just have really this culture of women expected to be everything for everyone. And if there's a scrap of time, then you can have that for yourself. But it's only after everything else is taken care of and everybody else. And women internalize this. And then we often judge ourselves and feel guilty if we even try and take some time for ourselves, because it feels selfish. And I really push against this, because my partner, who is an amazing, loving partner, like, this is not coming from him at all. He does not feel those feelings at all. He goes and plays hockey with his friends. Yeah. Goes for massages. He does this. And it doesn't even occur to him to think that his choices to take care of himself would impact the family. And I don't know why women feel like our choices would impact the family. Like, they aren't related. They don't have to be related. But in our minds, we kind of feel like they are. It's like, well, if I do this, then they don't get this, instead of I get this and they get a happy mom.
Yeah. And I feel like a little bit, it's ingrained in us that we take care of the kids. If dad takes care of the kid, he's babysitting. And you have to try to detach that. He's also the parent. It's not babysitting if he can take care of the kid. And we have a hard time, detaching those two things. Why do you think women, like, what can you do to get started with the self-care thing? You knew what to do, but say I'm a mom, I'm exhausted, I don't know what to do. Like, how do you get started?
Well, for me, in my experience, I just felt so hopeless. Like, and that was the key for me, where I was like, oh my God, is this my life? And I felt hopeless about it. Mm-hmm. And usually when we're feeling hopeless, we need to come back to the things that bring us joy. And it takes work at first. Like, it really felt like it was work for me, because I was exhausted. I didn't want to move my body. I wanted desperately to sleep by myself for 24 hours, but we take what we can get. And at that time, what I did, like, the things that really made me feel like me, was running. So I would go and I would run, and I would listen to a podcast and just enjoy that time for myself, whatever that was. Even when I was tired. And that, for me, that was everything. Was like, I know that energy generates energy. So, if sometimes we absolutely just need rest. Like, I'm not saying push yourself when you're exhausted and that's the answer to everything, but even to just get started, and when you're exhausted and tired, do something that can help you create some more energy. So that might be like just even doing a few sun salutations on your mat, or getting out for a walk, or something that helps you connect back into your body and will help generate that energy. And I think one of the biggest things also is remembering that it doesn't have to take a lot of time. Like, if you can fit in 5 minutes to yourself a day, that's more than you're doing before, so it all counts. And all of the research also within neuroscience points to consistency being more important than longevity. So maybe you don't have an option to have 2 hours in a day, even in a week, to go to a yoga class, But you could sit and do a few stretches at home. You can sit and mindfully breathe for a few minutes, and all of that adds up to rewiring your brain and your body. And so, just remembering it can be simple, just do it regularly, and to make that time to prioritize yourself.
That sounds so nice to just kind of think of that every day. Like, what can I do to show up for myself and to support myself going forward? And wish I had those kind of tools when I was getting over childbirth as well. So a side note, but we ask everybody who comes on, because we love organizations, we're project managers. What is your favorite way to stay organized?
Oh man. I have like a giant calendar where because I run my family too and my business. And I also have a side gig where I work for, some other stuff. So like I have a giant calendar that I manage everything on, and I'm kind of like, I have a little bit of things within, things that are digital, but then I still really like the analog. I like to see things visual and big and be able to, change them up. But
Awesome. So now going forward, how do you work with people? How can people work with you? How can they reach out to you? All the things. Tell us all.
Okay. Well, I do have an online yoga membership for moms and busy women, and that's called Quick Bliss Yoga. And actually right now I have an offer where you can sign up for 30 days for $1. They can check that out on my website. And I also have some other programs. I've got mindfulness for moms and mindfulness for kids, and everything that I offer is 20 minutes or less. So it's like quick things that you can fit into your life because moms are busy. And it's a way to also make it easy to prioritize yourself because they're quick little nuggets that fit in your life. Mm-hmm.
We love it. That sounds very exciting.
Thanks.
Yeah. And so should they just go to your website? What is your favorite way to get notified that someone is interested?
For sure. Quick Bliss Yoga is a great place. I also have one other website that carries my other courses, which is my name, TinaHnatiuk.com. And that's where you'll find like mindfulness for moms. And, I also have a class on, codependency and boundaries and stuff like that. So they can look at all that there. Mm-hmm.
Boundaries. I think that's the best way to do self-care, right? Like, cause I totally see the tie-in. I just made that connection. Okay.
Well, you know what the thing is you'll never take that time for yourself if you don't create a boundary around it. Like you have to have conversations with your family around it. Like if you continue to try and just fit it in, it doesn't happen. We've all done this, right? You try and get something into your day, it doesn't happen. So it does require, making some rules and prioritizing yourself and claiming that time. Yeah. Just like your partner would. It's like, I got hockey on Tuesday nights. Great. All right. I got this now. It doesn't have to be a big deal. It's just a conversation, right?
Yeah. And we've done that just even amongst ourselves at work. We block off time, like, don't schedule me for anything during this time. It's my time to do this.
Yes.
And whether it's work or go walk the treadmill or whatever it is, so.
Yeah, that was perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Tina. We've really enjoyed you. Yeah.
Well, it's really nice to be here. It's so nice to meet you, girl. You're lovely.
Thank you. We'll talk to you again soon.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you for listening. For more information, join us at thepmagency.com.